Want to know what's going on in our community? Thanks for joining us on Consider the Source, where we will highlight the biggest stories from this week and hear more from our reporters bringing you the coverage. Remember, the Source is online all the time, and you can find us at stthomassource.com, stcroixsource.com, and stjohnsource.com. I'm your host, Adisha Penn. And for all those in the Virgin Islands, we are excited to kick off our first newscast in honor of Emancipation Day, which is being celebrated as we speak with events throughout the territory. Head to the Source Monday for more coverage. Now, let's take a look at this week's headlines. COVID-19 samples forwarded to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for routine COVID-19 sequencing have identified the presence of the COVID-19 Omicron BA.4 subvariant in the territory, according to the Department of Health. Preliminary reports also indicate the presence of the BA.5 subvariant, which health department officials say they will confirm when conclusive data is available. Omicron subvariants BA.4 and BA.5 are now the dominant strains in the United States, making up over 52% of infections. There may be breakthrough infections, meaning that if you are vaccinated, you may still become infected. But vaccinations continue to be the best defense against severe illness or death. The health department continues to encourage the community to remain cautious. Tropical storm warnings were up midweek for Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Grenada, and watches were issued for coastal stretches of Venezuela and Bonaire. That's ahead of potential Tropical Cyclone 2, a title assigned by the National Hurricane Center to show possible development into a named storm. This system was expected to bring heavy rain and hurricane or tropical storm conditions to the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica and Nicaragua late Friday. Meanwhile, the National Hurricane Center is monitoring a tropical wave over the western tropical Atlantic that continues to produce disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Only slight additional development of this system is anticipated while it moves northwestward for the next several days. The wave was forecast to move over the Windward Islands late Friday or early Saturday, and then over the eastern Caribbean Sea by this weekend, where further development is unlikely due to unfavorable environmental conditions. The formation chance through 5 days is low at 10%. The U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico may see increased shower activity during the upcoming weekend, according to the National Weather Service in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The probability of at least one major hurricane, meaning Category 3 or higher, in the Caribbean is 65%, compared to an average of 42% over the last century, according to the new forecast. That probability is 76% for the entire continental U.S. coastline, average is 52%, 51% for the U.S. East Coast, including the Florida Peninsula, average is 31%, and 50% for the Gulf Coast from the Florida Panhandle westward toward Brownsville, Texas, average is 30%, according to the forecast. After extensive negotiations, the territory is on track to re-establishing cancer treatments, according to the Office of Disaster Recovery. FEMA has awarded the territory $50 million to reconstruct the Charlotte Kimmelman Cancer Institute on St. Thomas, the agency announced this week. In 2017, following Hurricanes Irma and Maria, the facility was forced to close due to irreparable damage to critical equipment and systems. This loss left a huge gap in medical care that, to date, could not be filled, the office said in a release announcing the funding. Prior to the storms, the medical center administered cancer treatment to the territory's residents and visitors from other Eastern Caribbean islands. In June 2021, FEMA approved the complete replacement of the facility. A little over a year later, the Schneider Regional Medical Center now has access to funding to begin the demolition and reconstruction, the release stated. The hospital redevelopment team is currently soliciting bids until July 18th for the selective demolition of the facility.
We're so excited for this announcement of $50 million to rebuild our beautiful Charlotte Kimmelman Cancer Institute. This will allow us to move forward with getting really much needed cancer services back online here in the Virgin Islands. And we're so glad that we're going to be able to provide this care again to residents right here at home, as well as visitors and neighboring islands who come here for care. And we're really thankful to the work of Mr. Darrell Smalls and the entire Territorial Hospital Redevelopment team, as well as Director Williams Octoline and the Office of Disaster Recovery team for all the work that they've done to get us to this point.
So tell us about the timeline. How does the funding work and how does the construction work?
Now that we have this announcement of funding, we're able to move forward with selective demolition of the existing CKCI and work towards rebuilding and reprogramming our new institute to be a state-of-the-art cancer center for the future.
Suspects charged in the December 4, 2021 robbery and fatal shooting at the Havenside Mall in St. Thomas remain in custody while awaiting a trial scheduled for December, with jury selection starting December 5th. One defendant, 18 at the time of the incident, had his bid for bail reduction denied. As he denied the motion by defendant Micaiah Cozier, presiding Superior Court Judge Harold Willock sided with prosecutors from the Department of Justice. Government attorneys brushed aside claims that Cozier's ties to the community and clean prior record should be taken into account. The judge also let stand the $500,000 bail initially set for Cozier, leaving pretrial release a possibility. Cozier, along with co-defendants Jaquin Phipps, Demoy Barrow, and Junior Mercado Garcia, is charged with invading Glitter's jewelry store, taking merchandise, and shooting a customer and security guard. Customer Gregoriana Julian died on January 2nd from gunshot wounds she sustained in the incident. While sailing this week into the warm, orange Virgin Islands sunset on the catamaran Lady Lindsay, 13 graduates of the VI Professional Charters Association's 2022 Marine Apprenticeship Program received their certificates for the standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping, and with it, an international standard in basic safety for all working seafarers. All the graduates became STCW certified through the program and have completed sailing, powerboat, boating safety, navigation, theory, marina and dock management, marine engine, towing and salvage, marine enforcement, customer service, job readiness, and resume courses. The STCW is a requirement for a crew who wants to work on a vessel that's going foreign or has more than 6 passengers. The National Endowment for the Arts announced this week that Quebe flutist and bandleader Stanley Jacobs of St. Croix is among the 2022 class of NEA National Heritage Fellows, America's highest honor in folk and traditional arts. This year marks the 40th anniversary of the program, our nation's highest honor in the folk and traditional arts. A film celebrating the 2022 class of artists and tradition bearers will premiere in the fall on arts.gov. Each fellow includes a $25,000 award, and all of the recipients will be featured in a film that will premiere in November 2022 on arts.gov. Through the film, viewers will have the opportunity to visit the homes and communities where the fellows live and work, providing a connection to the distinct art form and traditions these artists practice. Exciting news coming this week. By autumn, 2.5 years after COVID-19 laid up the entire cruise ship industry, the world's largest brand plans to be sailing over capacity again. Reporting second quarter earnings Wednesday, Arnold Donald, CEO of Carnival Corporation, said the company's largest brand, Carnival Cruise Line, would be sailing at its pre-pandemic levels of 110% capacity in the third quarter. In May, Carnival Cruise Line started sailing their entire fleet again, but with fewer customers aboard. Donald said, the other Carnival brands, Seabourn, Princess Cruises, Holland America Line, P&O Cruises, Costa Cruises, Ada Cruises, and Cunard were close behind. 5 have already begun to return full fleet sailing. Carnival claims their enhanced COVID-19 protocols have helped it become among the safest forms of socializing and travel, with far lower incidence rates than on land. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control tracks the COVID-19 status of 94 cruise ships, ranking them from red to green on their vaccination status, and reported COVID-19 cases. As of the end of May, the last time the CDC updated their statistics, all but 3 of the 94 ships, including all of the Carnival Cruise Line vessels, were labeled orange, meaning the ship's cases are below 0.3%. And finally, we are excited to stop in this week at the ribbon cutting for the first visible image of the medical school being built in the U.S. Virgin Islands, the Medical Simulation Center, which was attended by local and federal dignitaries on UVI's St. Croix campus. The one-story building at the entrance to the university is more than 21,000 square feet with trauma and hybrid operating rooms, 18 surgical skill lab areas, 14 training rooms, patient exam rooms, a dining room, and an auditorium. To complete the project, funding of around $35 million was provided with a federal grant approved by the U.S. Commerce Department, Economic Development Administration. Let's hear a little more.
Hey, my name is Christina Starsmith, and I'm the sales executive with Echo Healthcare. Yep, and these are our LifePass mannequins. And our whole focus with these mannequins is to bring about realism, diversity, and engagement with the student population. So we want students to engage with real people like they would in real life, in the demographic that they would actually participate in as well. So all of our mannequins, they're 3D body scanned off real people. They're all alive. We literally just do 3D imaging and some molding, and then each one is hand-painted, artist created, and we purpose-build them to the curriculum needs. So if you want to have them to be intubatable, well, they all are intubatable, but we can do peripheral edema, we can do cabbage scars, we can do all sorts of other medical adjuncts and add it to the mannequin. But they are fully scalable from basic care all the way up to ICU level. And so each of the mannequins have a name. This is Carl in real life, so that's why his name is Carl. And then we have Vivian over here, so she's our elderly female. She's 85 right now. And as you can see, we have the whole life cycle of patients. So we have toddlers, and we have infants, and we have preterm babies. So very versatile. Nursing care for bathing care and maintenance. They can also do movement, but you scale them all the way to ICU. So physicians can intubate them, paramedic students can do CPR on them. We can put them in an ICU and do put them on a ventilator and put IVs in and medication administration. So they're very durable and they're also very scalable in their versatility.
Okay, great, thank you.
And how can we wrap up without taking a look at this year's St. John celebration, which started last week at Food Fair and Panorama and ends tomorrow with a traditional parade. Our own Nima Willott got the chance to sit down with Division of Festivals Director Ian Turnbull. Coming up next.
Hi, I'm Nima Willett, and we are excited to be sitting down today with Ian Turnbull, Director of USVI Division of Festivals, which is currently in the middle of producing the 2022 St. John celebration. Every year, we look forward to the big bands, the opening of Village, the 4th of July, and of course, Juve. So welcome, Mr. Turnbull, and thank you for joining us.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well.
That's good. So let's first start by talking about how you put all this together. This is the first year, because of COVID, that the division has been able to put on a back-to-back carnival events. So how long does it take you to organize these festivities? And what are all the things you have to look for behind the scenes?
Thank you for your question. And with regards to the first one, how long does it take? It can take up to a year or even 2 years to put on some of these events. Let me not say unfortunately, but due to COVID, it took us a very short window to execute St. Thomas that we did recently back in April, and then we had to turn around and do St. John in a very short window of time. The Division of Festivals is fairly new. We started in 2019, and St. Croix was our first festival that we hosted. And then, of course, in 2020, COVID came. And so, the time period was very quick because we finally came to the end of the pandemic. And so we've just been pushing through and enjoying what we're doing, and trying to make sure that we give the people, great cultural activities to attend.
Okay, great. So let's look at St. John specifically. What's been some of the highlights for you? And what are some of the lessons that you've learned through this process?
One of the lessons, I'll start with the last question. One of the lessons that we learned is that St. John, it's a very loving place. Love City is definitely the tagline for St. John. But also, when you're hosting these events, and then you have to go on a ferry, you have to time everything. So we're learning how better that we have to manage time, especially in putting on St. John. But what I've enjoyed about it, outside of just the love that you get here from people, is the events that I really enjoy was Food Fair. Food Fair in St. John is slightly different from in the other islands. St. Croix and St. Thomas, they're a little bit more bigger, so they have a little bit more space. St. John is very tight and quaint, so you're gonna meet everybody that's at the food fair. And so we had that on June 26th, and it went very well. A lot of people, from all islands, St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, all came out to enjoy it. And we were fortunate to have some great entertainment. So I would easily say Food Fair. Food Fair is probably like a fan favorite. So I'm right there in the middle with everyone else.
Okay. So for St. Thomas Carnival, we saw students at Charlotte Marley High School design the layout for Food Fair. So tell us about some of the stories like this that we have for St. John celebration. We hear that there's a family from St. John that recorded their own road march, and they plan to play that in the upcoming parade.
Yeah. So again, with St. John, the parade route is very short. It isn't as long as is the other venues, but there's a lot of creativity on island. So what you have is you have a melting pot of individuals, whether it be families, whether it be one person, two people. They come out and they just express themselves. So even to the extent of we've been able to have new artists that haven't been able to get an opportunity to be seen or heard. We've put them on the lineup. We made them involved. We still have about 2 more days left of activities, and so we're still in the middle of this big carnival, and so we're just having fun with it. And again, similar to St. Thomas with the food fair with the students, you see a lot of people becoming creative. And even with tomorrow's event, the Emancipation Day event, that's a creative event that's happened over the years for a while here in St. John, and a lot of people don't know. They go on a hike. After they go on a hike, they go on a reenactment of the rebellion and so forth. So we just encourage people to pay attention, know why we're hosting Carnival. It's because of those reasons, because of us pushing the envelope in terms of not wanting to be enslaved and wanting to be free. And so that's what this is all about: Emancipation Day and Independence Day, all wrapped in one.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. And finally, as we look ahead at the Crucian Christmas Festival, what are some of the things our community can expect?
Well, St. Croix is very fortunate to actually be, for me, for the team, in a place where we have a long window to plan. So St. Thomas, we got the word in February and had to execute. St. John, coming off of St. Thomas, was very difficult, for us and the team to pull off what we're pulling off here in St. John. So St. Croix, we have what I like to say, our ducks in order, and so we have a long runway to set up things. And so I want to give big kudos to the team, Shamari Haynes, Halva Hart, Leona Smith, but we're already moving forward. We expect to, of course, have all of the regular events. I know with St. Thomas and St. John, we didn't have the princess and the queen pageants. We're going to have those. We're going to probably have a calypso showcase a Calypso review or Calypso Monarch, and then some other activities. And then there'll be more collaborations with, again, individuals who are hosting their own events. That's one of the big things with making carnivals great, is partnering with people who are doing other events that can bring attention, that can draw attention to the territory and make people say, hey, let's go down to St. Croix for their festival, and let's just enjoy it, because there's things to do not only in the night but also in the day.
Wow, okay, that sounds great. So, what a great conversation, and we really enjoyed this look behind the scenes with you. Carnival, festival, celebration, all of these wonderful events really give our community the chance to come together and reconnect. And we always have so much fun while doing it. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you on next week at The Source. I'm Nima Willette. Thank you.
Thank you, Nima.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this Sunday. We can't wait to catch up with you here next week. Until then, stay safe and stay informed. The Source is online all the time. Keep visiting our sites for around-the-clock community coverage, and tune in on social for updates at the top of each hour. I'm Adisha Penn. Until next time.